go. Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chat.
And I'm Wally.
And we're going to have some fun. Cheers, Wally.
Cheers.
Welcome back in the
Woo.
green room.
Cheers.
Woo, woo.
Well, it's good to be back. It's always fun to come with you guys.
Normally I would be having wine with you, but I've actually decided to do a sober month this month to give my liver a little chance to clean itself.
Well, also he's going to a
Probably
wedding.
Not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, it's definitely good for anybody who likes to drink regularly to take some extended break. It lets your liver heal itself because the liver is one of the organs that can heal itself over time. So if you have a extended period of time where you're being very conscious of what you put in your body, it gives you a chance to cleanse.
Well, also
so-
you're going to a wedding in like 17 days and he's trying to...
Well, no, to be honest,
With his
no,
best.
it has nothing to do with that. To be honest, it was started out of purely accidental that I was sick. So I basically went a full week, obviously, with having no drinks because I was sick right at the end of August, basically. And so then I just kind of had no desire to drink once I got...
Probably not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, it's good to take breaks. Yeah, without a doubt.
With
But
you owning bars, did you ever take a break?
Oh, I always did. No, the secret of being in the bar business, and I learned this years ago when I was being taught to be a bartender for my own bars by a older gentleman. He said, look, don't start buying drinks for people because they'll want to buy drinks for you, or they'll start buying drinks for you so you buy drinks for them. And you cannot drink when you work.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. Now, if you want to have a drink after work, go someplace after work out of your bar and have a
That's
drink with
smart.
somebody, which is what I did and what I was always got in trouble with my wife, was going to after work, because you cannot do it while you work. And that's the number one reason that bars fail, is because the boss drinks while he works.
And it's even tougher. It's equally difficult for me because at least for when I'm DJing, because a lot of the times it comes with free drinks, that'll be part of the
Can't
and
do it.
I'll have usually one as I'm performing to kind of I'll do air cheers with people in the crowd and stuff to try to get them having more fun. But for all intents and purposes, I wait till after I'm done performing to really start drinking. So.
I've noticed that you're really good about it. And you,
Well, I want to put on the best show possible, and it's obvious. I mean,
Well, you're a pro.
yeah,
Exactly.
You
yeah.
have to.
And
Exactly.
alcohol, it gives you more confidence. So you might think you're performing better than before, but it actually definitely hinders your performance in most aspects. The one person I can't speak to that fact is John Daly, of course, because
That's an amazing
Yeah.
occurrence.
yeah, he is
Watching
he is
John
an
Daly.
anomaly. Yeah, the fact
He-
he's won golf championships drunk that's something else.
But he's not. He does not look healthy. And
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is now, but it's not helping him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he is definitely on kind of the extreme side of, not taking enough breaks. And you can see it in his body
Yeah.
that he's not in shape. And I doubt
Does your
he's-
friend that's getting married know him? I'm not going to say who he is. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's not relevant to people listening because they don't know who we're talking
Well,
about.
Chet's going to a wedding, and his friend is a pro golfer, and his
Oh.
dad is a famous golfer, but I'm not going to say the names.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I
And
write
I'm gonna be John
about
City.
that in the book. That's one of the number one things you have to really watch out for.
Oh, tell everybody
And
the
I-
name of your book. Even though you've been on the show before, I want everybody to still buy your book.
Okay, the book is "Where's My Phone, My Glasses, My Keys, My Remote: The Subtle Joy of Aging." And I started drinking years ago in high school because I lived in Coronado, and we used to go down to the Long Bar in Tijuana and drink on Friday nights. And here I was, 16 years old, driving to Tijuana, driving home. We always lost one or two people every year on the highway on the Strand coming back from Tijuana.
Damn.
Kids got
Really?
in terrible car accidents because we drank. And then I went to Southern Cal to college.
Mhm.
And that's before Uber existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I drank in fraternity life at Southern Cal, and then I
What
went.
fraternity?
I was a Beta, Theta Pi, Beta,
Mm-hmm.
and then then I went in the military, and the martinis were 25 cents at the officers' club. So, and after you flew for a day, or you went through pilot training and then flew missions and whatever, and I did 2 tours in Vietnam, and we drank and Tanqueray martinis were 25 cents. I became terribly fond of Tanqueray martinis. And
Well-
so once I got in the bar business, though, is when I really slowed down because I was too busy.
And your restaurant was Wally's.
Well, no, my first restaurant was a Marie Callender restaurant in Reno, 1974. And I had 8 other restaurants. I had pubs and barbecue restaurants. And then I moved here to Phoenix and started Wally's in 2002. And I've been in the business since 1974.
And weren't you a daily, where you were at your work every single day? Or?
Yeah. In the bar and the
You're
restaurant business is an everyday deal. I mean, yeah, you can take time off. I mean, I did trips. I went to Paris for a month. I went around the world. I flew around the world. I mean, I did things. I enjoyed my life. But you have to really be dedicated in that business. You
Yeah, because when you're not there, you have to have somebody that you can really
Right.
trust.
Right. And, people you can trust. There are trustworthy people out there, but almost every time that I caught somebody stealing, it was the last person I thought I
Really?
would have caught stealing.
You actually caught people stealing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
really?
heard that's really common in the restaurant
Oh,
business.
it's common.
Yeah.
And it was more common before when there was a lot of cash around.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we all stole. Even the owner stole. But when there was a lot of cash, it was available. Now with credit cards,
It's way harder.
the only thing you can really get a hold of is product.
Mhm.
I mean, you can, managers, they're the last one to leave the restaurant, assistant managers who work at night, they can grab a bottle of wine and, you do inventory, but how are you going to really tell? So it happens, and it's very frequent in the business.
Well, okay. I'm not going to say what restaurant till we're off air, but there.
The gossip. Here it
No,
comes.
there. I have a friend that can. Well, tell you this is true. We would go to this one restaurant, and the bartender, she would always come up and say, "Oh, this. Nobody wanted this. Do you want this?" But she did it consistently, and so I was like, "She's so nice." But later on, I thought, my friend said, she's stealing.
Yeah.
Because she's stealing from that owner.
Sure. Hoping
And-
to get a bigger tip.
Exactly.
Sure.
And it worked. I did give her a bigger tip.
Mhm.
But then, anyway, we'll talk about it later. So,
Well, there's a great joke in the restaurant business where a bartender who'd been with a company for 20 years gets fired.
mhm.
And the bartender looks at the owner and he goes, "You're going to fire me. I already own my house. I've already got a boat. I've already got the camper. You're going to hire a new guy who doesn't have all that yet? What do you think he's going to steal?"
That's funny.
That is really funny.
So
That is really funny.
That's the business.
Well, so then I was at another restaurant that the same owner owns that same restaurant. And I did tell another manager because I was feeling guilty because this was consistently happening. And
So you ratted out the person that was giving you free food?
I did because I felt like it was stealing. I felt like the person was stealing.
Okay, well, I see where your perspective is on
Mhm.
that, but there's a chance that they were given some leeway to do that. I feel like some restaurant managers, aren't they allowed to maybe comp some stuff?
We always allowed it if
Yeah.
the bartender came to us and said, "Hey, I got a birthday over here, a good customer or whatever, can I buy him a drink?" Yeah.
Yeah, so you might have been a regular and they're
No
hooking
prob-
you up
no
and then you
pro- no
ratted on
problem.
them for no reason.
But very rarely did they necessarily do that.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
said exactly how it happened. I didn't say, "Oh, maybe that's allowed." And anyway, the manager said that is never allowed. That is never allowed.
Yeah, a
Getting
lot of
something
places,
comped was
No-
never allowed at that place?
On a consistent
Oh, okay.
basis like that, that is
a
not
lot of
allowed.
places don't allow it at all. And it solves the problem.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, there's no leeway then.
Right. So, I didn't want to get somebody in trouble, but I think that I'm
Well,
sure.
then you're associated with it if they do get caught. If
Well-
they notice it and you have to accept it,
Exactly.
then you're part of it.
You're part
So
of it.
I can't blame you for what you did.
Exactly.
No, that's fine.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I have a friend that works at a pretty nice restaurant. Every time I go in, he either gets something comped for me or gets like a percentage taken off my bill, but he always asks his manager. So it's always approved from the top. But that's why sometimes it differs. Like sometimes the
No,
manager
and it
will be,
does.
yeah. Sometimes the manager will be like, "Oh yeah, he can have a free dessert, but like no discount or something like that." So it differs. But some places, I don't want to say where he works, but it's like a pretty nice restaurant, and they do have some leeway with that. So, but it sounds like you asked So you know that this person was stealing. So
It was
Yeah.
definitely stealing. It was
Leeway
definitely
is all
stealing.
right as long as you have a procedure.
yeah.
So you, in your restaurant experience, what percentage would you have to worry about stealing?
It wasn't a large percentage, but I had 2 instances over the many years that I owned a Marie Callender restaurant in Reno
Mm-hmm.
that I had a bookkeeper who would kite the Friday deposit until Monday, using that money to go gamble with. And then finally she got so far behind that we noticed that, wait a minute, where's the Saturday and Sunday and where are those deposits? And she admitted that they had lost them gambling.
Wow.
So
And that's your accountant. That's
yeah,
you're
that
expecting
was-
to be
that
the
was-
responsible
she's
person.
been with me 15 years.
Oh my goodness.
And so, you know, we went
Wow.
through it, how long it had been going on, went back in the books and whatever, and found out that it had been around $25,000 over the period of time that she had gotten away with this. And luckily for us, my thievery, or my, whatever you call it on my insurance, covered people stealing. I had an insurance policy that lasted until the 6th of June, and a new one that started on the 5th of June. So I had one day in there where I had double coverage. That was the day we caught her.
No
So I
way.
had $50,000 in insurance, and it covered the entire loss. But
How
she,
Got lucky then.
Oh my
she
gosh.
was arrested. I didn't follow through. I left it up to because she was a sweet gal. She just got a gambling problem. She and
Yeah.
her husband.
She should have quit being an
And-
accountant
and
then,
the-
right
Mhm.
then and there.
And they prosecuted her and didn't put her in jail, but she was on probation for many years and was told she could never go into a gambling establishment again and whatever. And I never heard anything about it later on, but there was a gal that I trusted almost the most.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you have any other, interesting stories about that?
Well, I've caught
Yeah.
guys walking out of the back door with a case of beer.
Because, that's what I was
What?
wondering is like
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
number one place I could imagine it's easy for that to happen are with the cash tips. Because it's like, somebody's probably grazing off the top or something and hoping nobody notices or something like that. But what are the other ways that people steal?
Well, there's all kinds of ways they can steal.
You were saying inventory, like the stealing the beer.
The management can steal. Your assistant managers can easily steal. They're the last ones to leave. Nobody's going to see them, so they can walk out with food.
What about
So that's
lots
the
of
main
cameras?
person you have to
States.
trust then.
No,
Yeah.
the cameras. A lot of cameras are fake cameras
Oh.
because who the hell's going to spend the time to watch them? Now you can always, you can go back if you
Right.
if you suspect something,
Right.
and we have done that and never found anything that way.
Mhm.
But there's more ways for people to steal than you can imagine.
Damn, that makes me not want to ever open up a restaurant. It
Well,
sounds like so much to worry about.
But it's any business.
Yeah, sure.
Have a rental car business. How many people take a car for the weekend and take it home and drive it around for the week? There are a million ways to steal. You just have to have a generally accepted, honest group working for you. But understand that 35% of the people will steal from you if they think it's relatively safe. 35% of the people will steal from you no matter what.
But it's interesting. I told this manager at a different location because they own several restaurants. And then the next time I went back to that restaurant, she was still there. And I didn't sit at the bar. And she was still there. And then I didn't have really good service. It's like she had said something to the people. I think she knew that I had said something to somebody. I think it got back to her and she was still there. And
Well, yeah, she was for sure reprimanded for that.
Well,
Right.
they didn't actually catch her, so there's a difference. But firing people nowadays is difficult, and especially if they're going by hearsay, could be, well, maybe you just didn't like this gal and you made it up. And all
true.
she had to do was say that's not true. So you got to be
True.
very careful how you terminate people nowadays, especially when their honesty is in question.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about the
We'll
details later. We'll talk about it. Maybe we need to
I don't like talking about it
No,
anymore.
no.
I did it.
So tell us about
Yeah, well, let's move on to some
What were
funny
your-
stories.
Yeah, funny
Then there has to be
stories.
probably some funny stories
Yeah.
from just mishaps that happen in the bars or something like that? Or?
No, we ran it there a relatively straight, squared away operation.
Nothing specifically
It
memorable.
was not that I recall.
But did you
too many
have the
things.
regulars that would come in that you would
Well,
really
we had
enjoy?
we had regulars. Certainly, regulars are a big part of your business. But you always wanted to make the new customer, pardon me, feel as important as your regular customer, because there's nothing worse than being the new guy at the bar and nobody's paying you any attention.
That's so
We've
true.
all been at those bars,
Mhm.
and there are, well, I can't say the name.
And you see other
But-
people getting served ahead of you, and you're like, come
When
on.
I first came to town, I went to
Mhm.
a bar. I had built Alice Cooper's restaurant downtown.
Oh yeah, I'm friends with Allison Cheryl.
Yeah.
He knows that.
And I went into this one bar, which shall remain nameless.
Okay.
And I sat at the bar, and I was in the bar business, so I was, talking to the bar. She couldn't give me 1 ounce of her time.
Oh wow.
I spent all her time on the other side of the bar with the regulars. And I'm going, that's the kiss of death if you have that kind of a bartender. That bartender has to treat that
Mhm.
new person as important or more important, because they'll start coming back. You already own them.
And they're
Yeah.
going to keep coming
The
back.
regulars you already own.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So and that's a hard thing to try to teach bartenders, because they know you. They
yeah.
know who you are. They know that you're
Mhm.
going to give them a good tip. So they don't know the new guy.
That's
But
that's
it's
so
hard
true.
to teach them to do that.
Mm.
It's a difficult aspect of the business. And that's everybody. That's the server, that's, everybody in the operation.
Well, that's a smart.
That's a pro
aspect.
tip for sure, right there, for
That
any
is.
restaurateurs listening. Or
I still one of
bartenders.
these days want to have.
Maybe
a
I
fun-
should write another book on
You should.
You definitely should, because that's a
You
really
should.
good
that
tip.
area is done in my life. I'm
Yeah.
doing so much other stuff right now that's done.
Well, maybe not.
I painted yesterday. I haven't sculpted for a while, but I painted yesterday. I worked on my book this morning. I worked on the play this morning. I'm perfectly happy.
Oh, are you not involved at all in running Wally's at all
No.
anymore? Oh, okay. Do you
No.
like it? Do you like the retired life better then?
Love it.
Okay.
And that's
love
why
it.
I wrote the book.
Uh-huh.
So people understand that if you leave a job,
you
that's
have to have
just
passion.
that's the start of a new life.
hmm
You finally are able to do whatever you want to do. Your job, your family, your kids are gone. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. And
Well,
if you
it's-
don't, it's your fault.
And it's so important.
It's true.
More people need to be hearing that, because there's such a crazy statistic that I think it's 75% of people pass away within like 6 years of retiring. It's some crazy number like that. Or it might be like 65%.
If they're
I
not
think
passionate
it
and
used to be that way.
Yeah.
People are living longer now.
Yeah. Or I forget what the time span is. It might be a longer time span, but there's like a certain window where most people die after retiring. And so it shows that a lot of people, after they retire, they don't really have enough purpose, but they need to start chasing those passions.
That's
like
why I wrote the
painting.
book.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
exactly why I wrote the book, because
And I've read the
It
book,
hit-
and the book is great,
thank you.
and it's funny.
But it hit me. It hit me while I was painting and going, look at how excited I am about doing this.
How did you
Well,
get
and
into
it's-
painting? How did you start that?
I just started it.
Just I want to paint.
Just started, took a couple of classes at Scottsdale Art Institute, which I found, not saying the Art Institute is wonderful,
Mhm.
but the classes that I took always went at the speed of the least talented person in the room.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I didn't feel I was the least talented, and I wanted to keep moving on because I'm there to learn.
Yeah.
And it was always,
Moving slowly.
it was too slow. So I said, hell, I'm just going to learn everything I want on the internet, which you can do.
Mhm,
I love
100%.
that.
And so I'm not talking down about Scottsdale Arts Institute, because it's a wonderful organization, but it's just, for me, I need to physically learn.
Next time you
Well,
should
and
bring
it's-
paintings.
It's more
You
important.
got to bring some paintings.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's more important now than ever for people to start finding these passions and hobbies and try to find more than just one. And the reason why it's so important right now is because of how AI is blossoming and developing so fast. A lot of jobs are potentially under threat, like how a lot of truck drivers are going to be out of their jobs in the next 3 to 5 years with the automated trucks. Like, there's so many different jobs that are going to be gone because of robots, like in the next 5 to 20 years.
A lot of people are worried about that.
Well, it's a huge issue that's right on the horizon. A lot of people don't see it, but like, you guys remember that movie I, Robot with Will
Yes.
Smith? We're like
Mhm.
probably like 10 to 15 years away from robots of that capability.
I want to
And-
see that movie again. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
have you seen the prototypes of the robots that exist nowadays? Like, it's wild. The stuff that's already out there is like similar to that level. It's just hasn't reached a mass production level yet. But once it does,
Or acceptance.
yeah, true. But a lot of people are still ordering the Waymos, like the self-driving cars
you
and
been in
stuff.
one?
So
No, I've never been in one. And I hear the Chinese one is here in town now also.
yeah, which is unfortunate. I try to support the human drivers, like, because I feel how the human connection and having a job and feeling like you have a purpose. Some people attach most of their feeling of purpose to their job. They should have a deeper meaning beyond that.
They've all been complaining. The last 2 taxis I took from the airport were all complaining between the Uber people. I don't know if Lyft allowed to go to the airport now?
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Okay, but the Waymo has not been accepted at the airport, correct?
It has.
I think it has. Yeah.
It
It
has.
has. Okay,
Yeah.
there's why they're upset.
Yeah.
He said that they've cut down 50% of their drivers or something to that point. He was very upset.
Well, yeah, and
and he was hustling me for a better tip too, which he got.
it probably worked. Yeah.
It worked.
And unfortunately, it's coming for every industry, and unless our government regulates it, it's kind of inevitable. So the
Like,
only thing you can do to try to, avoid having a problem with that new era is to chase those passions and to ignite those passions, whether they're creative, artistic, related to music, video, the
Sure.
internet, doing writing, anything creative.
Like your play.
Well, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
I
You've been
started-
writing.
I started painting.
Tell us about
Then I
it.
started sculpting. I took a sculpting class when I was in Carlsbad from a wonderful, wonderful instructor. And then I started sculpting at home, and I did the sculpture that we now give out at the Hemingway Lookalike Society for the
Really?
winter. And I've done all these wonderful sculptures. But then I started writing. And
Are they
didn't
where
have-
you can
didn't
bring
have
them next time? Can you
I'll
bring one?
Bring whenever you want.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
But I'm sure you can talk me into it. But no, I loved it. It just consumed me, and that's the passion you're talking about, and what
100%.
I write about in the book about. You got to have a passion. You just can't sit there on the couch and watch reruns of Law and Order. You
Mhm.
can't do it. And if I don't even know how fast, it's the old toilet paper effect. You know how fast the paper goes at the end of the toilet roll.
Mhm.
Well, that's what life's like when you get to be, I'm almost 80, and the idea is it just goes so fast.
Mhm.
And
It's-
now that I'm 80, my buddies at Coffee want me to write a book called Tipping Point, because no matter what you've done up to 80, as far as taking care of yourself and doing everything you're supposed to do, at 80, you don't have any control over your health. Shit happens, pardon the expression.
Well, you always don't have control over your health, though. Like,
Well,
I just
It's
saw
even
this.
worse at 80.
Oh, 100%. But I just saw this video on social media of a photographer who's literally my age, who's like, was doing a
Mhm.
GoFundMe because they just found like a ton of cancer in his liver. So like it happens to people at every
yeah.
age,
No, you're right.
and so health is never guaranteed. And
You're right.
That's why you have to stay positive and enjoy every day like it's a gift, and every day can be
That-
the last.
that
So
and
enjoy.
and you also have to put in.
You're blushing.
That's true, but it has to be a mix of that with doing the necessary, basically discipline and maintenance to your body to try to prolong your health and longevity. Like we were talking about a little bit earlier in this conversation about how it's important to, practice moderation with drinking and get good sleep and, go through
Exercise.
We
exercise.
talked about that this morning,
Yeah.
about how Medicare is now funding to some of these lifestyle fitness, and they're funding some of these programs, but they found that so many people came in under the Medicare plan, and it's less than they really want to charge everybody, that they're reneging a little bit or limiting the amount of Medicare people that can come to these fitness centers now because so many people went after it.
Oh.
But
And
that's
that's a
great
shame.
that they did that.
And that's a shame.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
everybody
it
should
is.
have access to
Yeah,
that.
and they're giving you time restrictions now because there were so many Medicare people that went, took advantage of these situations.
To nice health clubs?
Yeah, these lifestyle fitness and people like that have restricted the hours you can go, and have added, if you want to do this, you got to pay $175 a month, where you weren't paying anything. Medicare was paying everything.
Well, and it's so confusing how we go through 8 to 12 years of like physical education classes in this country, but you don't come away with any kind of baseline knowledge of how to actually maintain your mobility and stay in shape and like create a good workout plan and stuff like that. Like, it really is information you have to find from like an expert or a professional, and it's basically like you have to pay to have access to that information. And so that's something that definitely should be changed too. But
Well,
you know,
it's
we can
interesting.
spread the information right here that, you know,
But your lifestyle changes. That's what affects you more than anything. You may have had a plan. You may have been one of those guys that cycled. You may be one of those guys who worked out all the time, where you were a wrestler or you were a swimmer or whatever. But my kids were all great. 4 of my kids got full ride scholarships because they swam. We had 17 years of swim meets that we went to.
Wow.
But they got married. They had kids. They had businesses. They don't get to do the physical activity that they used to. You know, they try, but it's nothing to compared to what they'd like to do or what they used to do.
Well, so
100%.
what is your routine of exercise?
I ride a bike. I have an e-bike that I ride. When I was up in Sun Valley, I rode that almost every day, up a mountain and down, because I got to go fast. Being an ex-pilot, I love going fast. But I started thinking, if I have an accident going this fast,
That's
I'm
smart.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
Or you'll
using-
wish you were dead.
I was using the brake a lot more than I used to now that I'm getting older. And so I did that 4 to 5 times a week. And it was 12 miles up and down, and I would turn around and go back up and down.
Wow.
And
That's impressive.
I felt
That
so
is.
good about it. And I always went at 4 in the afternoon when I started to be sleepy, because I knew if I didn't get on that bike, I was going to sit on the porch and take a
Pass
nap.
out, yeah.
So I found that worked the best for me. I love riding my bike, and I do the Dreamy Draw here. I love doing the Dreamy Draw ride on the canals here.
And that's why it's so important people find the exercise that they love to do, because then you get excited to go do it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about weight training?
It's
Do you
not
do
a-
any weight training?
Well, I'm going to start doing some because I went on Jardiance because my A1C was going up, and I lost almost 30 pounds, but a lot of that was muscle. So I lost upper body, and I have to start working that back up.
'Cause
Well, you look like you're fine, so
I think
yeah.
you look great,
And
but I
I did
think
notice.
weight training
I did lose
is
weight.
very
I mean, you
important.
noticed that I lost weight.
Yes, I
mean,
noticed you lost weight.
I lost weight.
And
And
every day you don't do weights, weight
Yeah.
training is key to your muscle.
Yeah, and you lose muscle mass when you take these.
Well,
Jardiance
everybody
and
loses
Ozempic
past
and
like
those.
30 or something. Everybody loses
Yeah.
muscle mass. In fact, you're a strong believer of weight training.
Oh yeah, well, the science is in that you basically, the only way you can maintain your full neurological health to a late age is with either regular cardio or regular weight training, and it has to basically get your heart rate up above like, I think like 80% of what your red line would be for like at least like 20 minutes or 15 minutes a day. These are stats from Andrew Huberman. He's like the head of neurological research at Stanford. I'm obsessed with his podcast, the Huberman Lab. He is all about like maximizing your health and longevity and all that kind of stuff. But he's the one who's like on the forefront of this research about how cardio prevents Alzheimer's, and so does weight training. And because it's basically your brain is a function of how much oxygen you can get to it, and you're not transporting oxygen well unless you exercise regularly.
Oh, that's true.
It literally,
That is true.
yeah, it literally, all of your blood vessels constrict or expand when you're working out. Like when you work out, all of your blood vessels expand to let the blood flow more. Like that's why you get a pump in that muscle. That's all the blood rushing there. And so that is so important for the cardiovascular system. And so the only way you're going to get that is with either running or like some type of cardio, swimming, running, biking,
Hiking.
or weight training for like more than just a few minutes.
Dancing.
Yeah,
Dancing's- I think of dancing.
So yeah, so that's why my whole regimen is taking no days off, because
Mhm.
I am so easily stuck into good habits or bad habits that if I just make sure I work out every day, sometimes on a really busy day, it'll just be for like 15 minutes or something like that. But I just feel so much better after I work out.
And it's good to set a goal, because you have your goal of, I mean, I think you have a goal for the wedding.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I think you should.
No, I just want to feel my best every day.
No, I think you
Yeah.
it's the right approach.
Yeah.
You know, if you can do it, I never could do it because I was always so busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the restaurants, I mean, I could have done it.
But you were
But-
probably running around the
I was-
restaurant.
Yeah, and I would run. I mean, I don't know how many miles it was. I never did track it,
Mhm.
but I'm sure I did 10,000 steps easy a day in the restaurant business.
Oh,
Easily.
you
Going
had
up and
to.
down the stairs to the office or over all those years, I didn't probably feel the necessity to work out because I was always so busy.
See, and that makes sense because you were an entrepreneur and you were the person having to probably open and close and do every
lot of
single
that.
little thing.
Yeah.
And I have some friends who have tried to convince to start doing no days off that have said, "Oh, I'm too busy right now. Like I can't do it every single day."
Mhm.
And what my response is that there are 1,440 minutes in a day, and or wait, 1,400 and or wait, my math is slightly off, but there's around 1,400 minutes in a day, and you can find 10 or 15 in those 1,400 to exercise, because you can actually get a good exercise in just 10 to 15 minutes. Like if you do like a little flow with planks, push-ups, and squats, and do that nonstop for 10 minutes, you will have achieved a nice cardiovascular workout. And so it really is about just staying disciplined and carving out the time. And obviously some people,
Consistency.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and some people can't do every day, but at least try to do like 4 or 5 days if you can't do every day. Try to carve out some time, because it will help your physical health, which will help your mental health, and it'll just help every aspect of your life. You'll spend less at the doctor, and so it just has the best trickle-down effect. And if you bike every day, you might end up looking like Wally when you're 80. So
Exactly.
you seriously
You
look
look
great for
great.
80. So
You-
many people at 80 are,
It's just a great period.
would be
Yeah.
wheeling in a wheelchair in
It's,
here.
thank
So
you, thank
yeah.
you. It's an attitude. It's 80% attitude.
Well, and it sounds
I
like a
love
lot
it.
of it is because you still have fun with it. You still enjoy biking. You enjoy
Yeah.
painting. You still enjoy stuff. And
If I don't enjoy it, I can't do it.
yeah.
So I try to find things that I know I'm going to enjoy.
And I know you're a great cook. You've
I
talked
am a
about
cook.
that.
I'm a cook. I
And,
love doing that.
So do you look for new recipes and
No, I have things that I really like to do that I do a lot. In fact, I've
like
got,
what? What's one of your
well, I've got 2 grandsons coming over next week. My son's going to Portugal with Shamrock Foods with his wife, so we get 2 of his boys for a week. And part of the deal is to teach them how to make carbonara, how to make my famous corned beef hash that I do on Thanksgiving and Christmas time, and a couple other items. And these kids are really into it. They made scrambled eggs last night at the house, and I showed them, they knew how to whip the eggs. We put a little cottage cheese in, and they made these nice, light, fluffy scrambled eggs.
Oh, we're having a little pause.
Yeah, it's froze up.
Okay. Do you want to stop that, Chet?
No,
Because
Well-
we can keep talking for that. While he's getting that ready.
Okay, just continue from where you're saying.
Technical
can you rewind a
difficulty.
little further back so
there's
I
a
can
couple
hear what
other-
we're...
other ones.
We're getting a little technical difficulty.
Oh yeah, it says right when you're right about making the corned beef hash at Thanksgiving. So like literally a few seconds ago.
Yeah, you're saying that the kids are really into it. And
Yeah, the kids are really, because my son has 8 restaurants.
One
so
second, one second.
Oh, isn't that ready yet? Here's yours. Here's yours.
Now you're good, whenever you're ready.
So they're really into these recipes that you make for them then?
Well, I think they're really interested because their dad, teaches them at home also, and because they have 8 restaurants. My son Christopher has 8 restaurants. They want to learn about food,
Mhm.
and he wants to teach them about food. So he said, make sure you do a couple of things of your favorite things with them, so they know how to do that and they can carry it on when you die.
Oh, he didn't say that.
Yeah, he jokingly said
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, what are the restaurants he owns?
Well, he owns the Collins at 32nd Street in Camelback. He has
Love that spot.
Macintosh at Town and Country, Neighborly at 7th Street. He's got Grassroots, Collins Public House, Wally's Pub up on Doubletree and Hayden, in that shopping center at the corner of Hayden and Doubletree. And he's building one downtown right now. And
Wow.
so he's got a catering company, and he's going to do a couple of food trucks that do some of the exemplary meals that he does at the restaurants. And so he has a total catering kind of setup.
That's
Very nice.
incredible.
So he's busy.
For
then.
part, yeah, he's
That's
very
a lot.
busy, but that's what he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves
That's
doing it.
great.
He went to Boston University and got hired by Houston's right out of college, and worked for them, was their youngest general manager. And he as a kid, he used to come to Marie Callender's and take out pies for the ladies to their party. And they kept giving him tips and stuff like that. And they said, "Dad, this is a heck of a deal. I love this." Now he was like 8 or 9 right then. And from then on, he wanted to be in the restaurant business.
Did
So,
he ever work for you?
he only worked for me when he left Houston's for a little while, because I had to calm him down a little bit.
Mhm.
Houston's has a way of teaching their people, which is exemplary. But I needed to calm him down a little bit and realize that your purveyors are your partners. They're not they're not servants.
Mhm.
And so you're in a partnership with your purveyors, and it makes life a lot simpler for you. And so he did a great job as far as that was concerned, and he's done a fabulous job with his restaurants. And
Great restaurants.
you know, he
Amazing.
He's
Which one do you
very good.
frequent the most?
The Collins at 32nd Street, because it's close to my house.
I've always wondered what type of how did they get the staff at Houston's to be so they run a tight ship over
Tight
there.
ship.
Best,
There isn't
the best
a
way to
tighter
say it.
ship around.
Yeah,
It's actually one of my favorite restaurants. So
But I'm
I love it.
concerned,
I love
how do they get them to be so? They all look the same, even they're so
No,
good.
They're amazing. I
They
love
do a
it.
fabulous
It's incredible.
job,
Yeah.
and when
Incredible.
he first started in business, those were the kind of kids he was trying to get, the ones who wanted to leave Houston's and wanted a little less strenuous atmosphere.
Mhm.
But he's tough.
I'm friends with a lot of the employees at Houston's and Hillstone, and they love it. They wouldn't stay unless they love
No,
it.
I think they love it.
But some people that don't like,
There's too
the
much
structure.
Yeah.
they go elsewhere. But I love the people that work
No,
there.
he knows that they're the best trained.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've
Yes.
been in Houston's and been annoyed by their amount of structure. One time I went in there without a shirt without sleeves on, and they were like, "You have to have sleeves on in here." And
I agree
was-
with that. I agree with the restaurant, because to me it's a nice establishment, and if everybody started dressing like that, it wouldn't be as nice as it is. So
No, they have their rules for a
Yeah.
reason.
exactly.
There's
So
no
let's talk
doubt.
about the play. Let's segue to something about you.
Well, okay.
Let's talk about what is this play?
The play came about because of the Hemingway Lookalike Society, which I've been part of since 2009. And it's a lookalike contest that's
Mhm.
held at Sloppy Joe's in Key West
Sloppy
every year.
Joe's.
Every year during his birthday, 150 contestants, places packed for 3 days. I run the auction. Last year we raised $136,000,
Wow.
and that money goes for nursing scholarships, for marine biology scholarships, for donations to local charities. And Key West loves us. I mean, I'll walk down the street and I'll have an older lady come up to me and says, "I went to nursing school because of your scholarship 20 years ago."
I love that.
So we have a great reputation, and we're
That's so
probably
great.
the biggest exponent of Ernest Hemingway in the country right now.
And how did you get involved in that? Was it?
Well, I grew a beard, and I went to a barber over on 7th Avenue,
Mhm.
who's a Hall of Fame barber named Ron Thomas, who won in 2002 in Key West. We've had 3 winners from Arizona,
Wow,
Very
really?
cool.
which is really odd. No other
Wow.
state other than Florida has that many winners. And so he said, "You got to come to Key West." I said, "What for?" He said, because I'd been there before, because I lived in Boca Raton for a while. And he said, "You got to go. There's a Hemingway lookalike. You'll love it." And so I went,
Mhm.
and I just fell in love with the whole idea. It's just a group of wild old guys who used to be
How fun.
wild young guys. And they're just all kinds of experience levels and all kinds of businesses they were in, military, et cetera, just fun guys. And we have a reason for existence now in the things that we do for charities and for the local people in Key West.
You're giving back, which
So
is
we're giving back. And in fact, we had 7 members of the Hemingway family there last year.
Very
How?
cool.
And it was huge. They gave us a check for $10,000,
wow.
and we gave a lot of it immediately back to the Key West charities. And so I gotten into Ernest Hemingway. I'm actually writing a book on Hemingway and Picasso right now,
Very cool.
which is another adjunct to what
You
we're
didn't
talking
tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm
That's
writing a
exciting.
book on
Okay.
that. But
Wow.
the play started because I wanted to do something funny and present it at the contest or at the mid-year, which we have in March. So that's what I'm going to talk to this gentleman about, videoing it. It's a one-man play about Hemingway being reincarnated to Key West. And the idea is there's no more heaven, there's no more hell. Everybody goes to heaven, but there are certain people who go to heaven who are classified as sinfully challenged. And those people can be reincarnated to make up for their past lives, but they can't be angels. So I have all these funny little interactions that go on while he's up in heaven. When he goes to get admitted to heaven, there's a guy in front of him, and St. Peter asks him a bunch of questions and then says, okay, if you can spell love, you're admitted. So the guy goes L-O-V-E. He says, fine, you're admitted to heaven. So Hemingway is next. And Hemingway stands up there, and St. Peter says, I need to take a break. Would you come over and take my place here? And it's Martha Gellhorn, his third wife. So Martha starts giving him all kinds of questions. Says, who were you fooling around with when you were married? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And he says, I got to be truthful. I want to get into heaven. So he's telling her all this. And she says, okay, you can be admitted to heaven. All you have to do is spell Czechoslovakia. So there's about 15 of those little quips in this book about how he gets to Key West. He's in Key West. Why is he in Key West? And all about his reincarnation and how he's treated today. He talks about the problems of how he's being treated today by other reviewers and by autobiographies, and how difficult it is to be Ernest Hemingway today.
So if it's just a one-man play, is it just one long monologue then?
It'll
Or does
be-
it have
I
different
was going-
scenes?
No, I was going to do it,
Uh-huh.
but then I figured, Wally, you're almost 80. You can't memorize 15 pages of script. There's no way you can do
You
it.
actually probably could.
No, I tried. I can't do
But
it.
you could probably do a couple pages and then take a break.
Well, a
And
lot
then
of
a couple
people can't do
pages.
that many, so that's why
No,
teleprompters.
it's-
That's why teleprompters
I'd
exist.
have to have a teleprompter,
true.
but I'm afraid that would be, I think that the best way to do that would be to video it on a stage. Then you can edit it. And then in March is when we're having this mid-year meeting with the College of the Florida Keys. I told them about it, and they said, well, we'll put you on the stage and we'll
How
do it then.
exciting.
And we'll do it then. And I'm thinking, why don't I video it?
That's smart. You should video.
I think videoing
Yes.
it would be better.
that would be
And
the
that
best.
way we can edit and I can get close up, and that kind of thing.
You can make
Yeah.
it really great.
And it's all about, him being such a difficult person when he was alive and how he's trying to change and make up for that. Because he had a lot of problems. I mean, that's another story as part of the Hemingway Picasso, because they had a lot of things in common. Nobody's ever written about the two together. So I have 125,000 words of research
Wow.
that I'm going through right now.
But see, that's so great for your brain cells.
But that's right. And I do it every day for 3 to 4 hours.
That's so great.
And that keeps me very occupied and keeps me into what I really enjoy doing, and that's learning and making things up.
Improving every day.
It's like painting or sculpting. It's
Those
the
were
same kind of
similar time eras, but did they actually know each other? at
Oh,
all?
yeah.
Oh, very cool.
They knew each other, but they were never really considered friends. They
Okay.
were acquaintances. They were
Interesting.
very close through Gertrude Stein during the 20s, where Gertrude Stein talked about the lost generation, and she had a salon at her apartment in Paris where Matisse and Picasso and Ezra Pound and Max Ford, all these people would show up for her salon, and that's how he got to know Picasso. And then Picasso and he became sort of friends because he didn't really speak a lot of French, and neither did Picasso. Picasso was Spanish.
Mhm.
So Picasso hadn't really gotten his French down or English. So they weren't really close friends. During the liberation of Paris, Hemingway was one of the first to come into Paris after the liberation of Paris in 1944, and went immediately to the Ritz Hotel and ordered 50 martinis for his group of guys he was with, and then drank about 15 bottles of champagne from the cellar. And so he went over to Picasso's apartment, and Picasso wasn't there. And the lady, the concierge that was there, said, "Would you like to leave something for Picasso?" And he said, "Sure." And he went down to his Jeep and brought back a grenade and gave it to the concierge. And she said, "Here, this is for Picasso to protect himself." So these are all these little stories that are in this book about their relationship. And so when Paris was liberated, and Hemingway was going out with Mary, his soon-to-be fourth wife.
How many times was he married?
4 times.
Okay.
And so he and Mary and Picasso's mistress at the time went out a couple of times, but their egos were so extreme that they were difficult together.
Mhm.
Picasso always felt that Hemingway was a braggart and boisterous, and
They butted heads.
you could never put them together. In fact,
Interesting.
the Murphys, who were a wealthy family who brought all these artists and whatever together, they said we could never have Picasso and Hemingway at the same time. We had to arrange it so they were there at different times.
2 lions, maybe? 2 lions?
2 lions?
Yeah, 2
Well,
strong
their
lions.
egos were
Okay, too
incredible
strong.
on both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. And so I've been writing about that. I've been writing about how he would be treated today. And that's what I was working on today.
When will you have it completed, do you
I
think?
don't know. It's just taking forever. I still got to file that high.
But that's
of
exciting.
Papers. But it is
It's
exciting.
exciting.
To
Well,
me,
yeah,
it's
that
exciting.
book sounds really interesting because of all the historical information in there
Oh,
that people don't know about. That's like not a very common knowledge type of thing.
Well,
that
and
they
it's
were
not
friends.
just their association; it's their
That's so true.
similarities. Like their women as muses. Both of them used women as total muses for everything they did.
Mhm.
Hemingway's wives, girlfriends, mistresses are in all his books. Picasso, all he did was paint his wives and mistresses.
Wait, how many wives and mistresses did these
Well,
two guys
Picasso
have?
only had 2 wives because he stayed married to a wife till 1955 because the French laws, he wouldn't divorce her because she would get half of everything he had. So she ended up dying. It was the only way he could get married again. So he had a lot of mistresses. I mean, Picasso had 20 mistresses. I mean, it was some for a long time. And those were his muses. And both of these men used women as muses in what they wrote or painted. And
Interesting.
it's very interesting.
I feel like that's a probably common thing from artists or even
Sure.
musicians, almost anybody in power from that era. That
Not
was like,
really.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Okay,
no,
name
it
one.
is, it is.
All right, name somebody that was successful from like the 20s and 30s who didn't have that.
Well, I wrote about it today, and
We'll be here for a
I made a
while.
posting on Facebook about showing my portraits of myself and how the portraits tell more about the artist than they do about the portrait. It tells how you feel at the time, and if you look at the 4 different portraits I can tell, you can tell just how I was feeling at the time. And Picasso
Interesting.
was even more an example of that, showing his self-portraits of as he aged, how he felt about his aging.
Well, it's funny though, because the age of having mistresses and muses is coming to an end with all the cameras and social media. Did you guys see the guy that was caught at the Coldplay concert?
Oh, yeah, that was that poor
Yeah,
guy.
he was trying to go Picasso mode and he got caught red-handed. I heard he got fired and everything. Well, which he deserves. Like, he shouldn't, because the fact that she was an employee, that's such a...
She was head of HR.
Yeah, that's pretty ironic.
The last person you want to find in a company.
Pretty ironic. So yeah, the age of mistresses and muses might be coming to an end.
It won't
but-
change.
Is that the name of your
You're
book?
probably true, but
The name of my book is Hemingway and Picasso.
well, the thing,
I thought it was Age of Mistresses and Mistresses.
well, the fact you were trying to argue is not that prominent. The one that I
no.
think about that's crazy is that JFK and Marilyn Monroe, the fact he was literally sneaking her into the White House like through the tunnel, like the fact that even the president has mistresses. Like
Mhm.
that was like such a prominent thing from that era.
I just read something yesterday or the day before saying that the CIA or who killed her, and that the injection was given after her death.
Oh, there's a lot of questions in her death that are fishy. Yeah.
My fraternity brother, his family bought her house after she died.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
a fraternity brother of mine, his parents bought her house.
Do they still own it?
I don't know. That was ages ago.
Okay.
I got to remember how old I am.
Well, you
That's
don't-
one
you
of
don't
the
look
things
it.
that
You
has
don't look
been-
it. You don't look it. You look
That's
it.
one of the things that has been coined air quotes conspiracy theory, but that actually there are a lot of like, you know, eyebrow raising details to her death that are, you know,
Let's
unanswered
get
questions.
back. Let's get back to
basically.
Wally.
What?
I want to talk back to Wally.
Well, we're just going on
No,
the
that was
conversation.
interesting.
Yeah,
That
it
was-
was very
Well,
interesting.
But I don't, I don't want somebody that is listening to think that, we're all only about controversy.
Well, no, we're not. We're saying it's
So you have the book, Hemingway and Picasso.
Yes.
That it'll probably be about 60. I'm trying to keep it down to 65,000, 70,000 words, but it's going to take a long time.
Why do you have to keep
Right.
it shorter?
Well, because you can't have it that,
Okay.
2 inches thick.
Okay, you don't want to have it too
People
long.
just lose interest. People don't read any. How many people read other than the only things that I see
Are you gonna have photos?
that seem no photos? The only things that and I could have a lot of photos in this book, but I decided not to do any photos. There seems to be a lot of romance novels and all that stuff. That's what people seem to be, or self-help, like the book
Yes.
here.
I read a lot of self-help books.
Do you read a lot? See, I don't read at all. I'm just too busy to read. I spend all day
Start a book
reading.
club.
I spend
Instead of
all,
sitting there with your
Well, you're
coffee
writing.
beans.
You're writing though.
Yeah,
so
but
you
that-
are
but
reading.
that's
That's
how
even
I'm
better.
reading.
yeah,
That's
and it
actually
sounds like
better.
you're
I can't-
doing a lot
the
of
last-
researching
The last thing
too.
I want to do is read, because I've done
But you
it.
know what? Are you actually writing? You're physically writing, or are you on the computer?
No, I'm on a word processor, and I've got all these sheets of research that I'm going through now, trying to put them in the correct chapters, because they're not all in one chapter on one thing or one chapter. As I saw something, I put it into the research, and I have to go through now and go from chapter to chapter, trying to put these things into these chapters. And
Except
Well,
my
we only have a
grandma-
few minutes left.
Really
so-
quickly, my grandma lived to be 105, and she was all about exercise, eating right, and she didn't say, I think one of her kids, her son, wanted her to move into an old folks home when she was like 85, and she was like, I am never moving out of my place, and her place had stairs, and she did the stairs until a few days before she died at 105, and she was healthy. She had a healthy brain. Her memory was better than mine, and she always was reading, learning, creating, gardening,
Yeah,
dancing,
Sir,
cooking until the day
Perfect.
she died. And she always would take the time she would write the most beautiful, just little thoughtful cards to people. And I'd say, you do this so often. And she'd say, so I remember how to write.
Oh.
And now I understand what she's talking about, because, with the computer and the texting and all that. The other day I went to write something, I'm like,
my penmanship's gone down.
do you know what I'm saying? So you need to keep writing and write daily and write your lists and all that. But anyway, back to you.
Well, I was going to say we only have a few minutes left. So, are there some other pointers that you want to basically talk about from your book? Either the one that's already out, and then can you tell people where they can find that? I'm sure it's on Amazon.
How do people
Right.
buy that?
The
Yeah.
Where's My Phone, My Glasses, My Keys, My Remote, The Subtle Joy of Aging is available on Amazon. The other book isn't available yet.
And how much is it? How much?
It's $15.
Okay.
Do you have any other kind of wisdom or points from your book that you wanted to, shed light on? Before
All I
we
can
finish?
say is
What's most important?
you got to have a passion about life. Don't be dull.
It's
Love
funny
that
because that's
quote.
like
That's
the
a great
main
quote.
theme of this show, basically.
That's
is
our
that
title.
people-
Have a passion for life. Don't be dull.
There
I
you
love
go.
that.
I love that. That's our title.
That's perfect,
With
because
Wally Collins.
if you have a reason to get up in the morning, it makes the day so much different.
Mhm. And for people that are,
One
stuck in a sad or depressed place, or it's tough to try to find a passion to go out, try to start with something that's active because it'll make you feel better. Like we were talking about
True.
earlier, how exercise getting that blood flow going, it really has a trickle down effect of making you feel better and make you want to start those passions. So if you're that person that's like kind of stuck in a low spot,
Start
you
with
don't-
working out
yeah, start with going on a walk or a hike.
And
something.
you can change.
Yes.
You can do it.
Yes.
and make a new
There's
friend.
no, there's no,
100%.
there's no, nothing out there that's keeping you from doing. I mean, yes, you can have some physical problems,
Mhm.
and if you have some physical problems, okay, just work around them and do whatever you can do.
Mhm.
Don't use it as an excuse to do nothing.
And what I
Yes.
love is he
Yes,
has
and
a
just
slew
start
of
doing
friends.
something.
Nothing is the end.
He has at your. I mean, I
At
think
coffee.
you're young, but he goes to coffee and he meets with like a dozen friends, and they all sit there and they talk about.
That's awesome. Having that camaraderie
Network.
and friendship is
Daily.
so important.
Community is very important. Associations is number 2 in my view.
Yes.
That you can't sit at home and not have I have a friend who sits at home who doesn't have a large group that
network
they associate
of
with.
friends.
And I'm going, guys,
He meets
you
daily
have to
with his
do
friends.
it.
And they're
Yeah.
You
drinking
have to,
coffee.
and it gets me up in the morning
Yes.
going to coffee.
And your
It's-
dog.
They're not that damn interesting. But the point is, my dog loves it. My dog will come and stare at me in the morning and say, "Why aren't we at coffee now?"
And he brings his dog. You
And
should
I
meet
bring
him at
my-
coffee
I
with
bring
your
my
dog. He brings his
to
dog.
coffee, and she loves it.
And your dog is what kind of dog?
She's a
Oh,
lab.
we are just at our
Saving
time.
the planet one
One show at a time.
Bye.
Thanks, Wally.
Wally
Thank
Collins.
you.
Time.